Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano. Tonight, we are drinking Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons coffee. If you have to hit pause on this video to get your coffee together or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will be a bit of a lengthy discussion. We have a lot to talk about. We got the food shortage report that is in from many of our different viewers all around the United States and beyond, all around the world. One of the big ones that we keep getting comments on, guys, and we are seeing it ourselves now, is pasta. Pasta is disappearing off the shelves. It is flying off the shelves. Now, as to where you may find it in certain stores, we're finding it too, but we're finding a lot less. I noticed at Meijer the other day, there was next to no spaghetti. None. They didn't have any regular spaghetti. Kroger was out of their brand last week. And that comes at a time where we saw a huge sale on Barilla spaghetti. So I don't really know. These things, I don't know if it was just getting past the best of use by dates on Barilla, but it is kind of funny when we see these huge shortages of pasta, and then we see a company like Barilla, that we never see these kind of sales, go down to $1 a box. You had to buy 5 of them, so I assume they were cleaning house, but keep getting comments all around the world on pasta shortages. One of our longtime viewers from Australia was saying a couple of their regular stores they go to didn't have any pasta except for one of their very expensive brands, and that's usually what happens. That's everywhere. We'll see the cheaper stuff go, and then usually Barilla around here is pretty expensive. DiCecco is a little pricey. DiCecco is really good. So is Barilla. But the fact of the matter is that these are times where prices are getting so expensive in the stores, we're going to all the cheapest options. All the cheapest options are starting to disappear. When we were at Walmart the other day, no great value spaghetti. None. And what they do have, and tell me if this is happening where you are, but we are noticing every store we go to, pasta aisles, the cheaper brands like Great Value, all the different cheaper ones are like very small, condensed. Like they're not getting much, if any. Nobody's really talking about this either, and I kind of find it's a little surprising. I mean, some people, we're not seeing this on the news. We're not seeing this on the tube. The idiot box, as I like to call it, which, this is a big thing. Pasta, grains, shortages, these kind of things, and it's not just the Ukraine and Russia thing where we're seeing a lot of shortages from this. There's been bad weather. Bad weather has caused a lot of different shortages throughout the United States anyway, and abroad, because it's wiped out a lot of different crops. Now, as to where, we're always going to be able to find it, but it's going to be, I think there's going to be a huge surge in prices as we go along here into 2024. This is what happened a couple years ago when we saw it start disappearing. We saw the prices go up, and then we didn't see any sales on it for a long time. So we'll just have to play that one by ear. But I got a lot of comments on that one. Probably the most this is the most heavy commented food shortage on this list, next to flour. Okay, so flour, we're having issues. Flour we're kind of seeing the same thing. We're seeing it all get condensed. I'm seeing this everywhere. I'm seeing it at Walmart big time. It's like Walmart's barely carrying any flour anymore. Oh, and their prices just went up as well. What was $2.28 or $2.26 for a 5-pound bag is now $2.43. They just went up. Even on their smaller bags, they went up as well. It's getting serious, guys. We're always talking about stocking up on some of these things as you find the best deals. Wheats, grains, flour, these kind of things you definitely want to make sure you're stocking up on in the future. Try to save what you can, but at some point we're going to start seeing some serious shortages on this. I hope not, but all signs are pointing to this is going to happen. You may want to stock up on some and make sure you have some put away just to know that you have it. Okay, flour has been a little bit of an issue. It's a bigger issue all around the world outside the U.S. where people are struggling to even get flour. And the same with pasta. Our channel is growing. It's getting a lot bigger. We have viewers from all over the world. So anything that you see in the stores, make sure you let us know what's going on, because what affects us can ultimately affect you, and what affects you can ultimately affect us. So we have to stay up to date on all these things. I know a lot of people were saying a while back that all the grains and wheat and stuff like that that come out of Ukraine and Russia will not affect us. Yeah, no, it does. It does. Even if what they're creating is messing up in one other country that we get stuff from, or if we send, it's a domino effect, guys. It will affect us eventually, and now it looks like it actually is. So this one right here I wanted to talk about for a second, because I've been getting comments on this pretty much every week, and I haven't talked about it, mostly because I wanted to go on that 2-3 week thing that I usually talk about. I want to see, like, okay, we went through Thanksgiving. Okay, we're talking about frozen vegetables here. Now, some people were saying, we got a couple comments from Birdseye being very low or out in a lot of your different stores. Now, I can say that Birdseye around here has been very low as well. What's more low is Great Value. Every time I go to Walmart, now I take into consideration a lot of people shop at Walmart, okay, but my third time I was like, okay, they're not getting in as much as they used to. And if you remember a video I did a while back at Walmart, we were seeing them actually mix Birdseye in with Great Value. Like, that shows you how much less they're actually getting in. Now we're starting to get more and more comments on some different frozen vegetable shortages, so we definitely have to pay attention to this. Somebody mentioned Meijer. One of our longtime viewers mentioned Meijer. Meijer, I feel like one day their vegetables will be packed, and then the next day they could all be gone, and they may be gone for a long time. We've seen this consistently at Meijer over the last couple years with all of this different stuff going on. The one that kind of triggered my attention was the 3 different comments that I got on Kroger vegetables. Kroger frozen vegetables. Usually we've seen them very low before. We've seen them out, but it's been a few years since we've seen this. The last couple trips I went to Kroger, I didn't really point it out, but they were very low on a lot of their different frozen vegetables. So I am going to Kroger tomorrow, so I will check. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe down below. We do these videos. Store videos are usually in the mornings at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you catch those. That is when we go to the store, boots on the ground, showing you all the best deals in ways that you can save money. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up too, as that helps spread our videos all around the world. We thank you so much for that. Frozen vegetables, I feel, at least around here in Cincinnati, Ohio, has kind of been a toss-up, right? Because we'll see them gone, right? We saw them gone like right before Thanksgiving, okay? But I did not even talk about it because it's right before Thanksgiving. Now, the next week we saw, well, okay, there was some that was coming in, a couple different kinds, but the last time I was there, it still looked significantly low. And the one that I noticed big time was Birdseye, right? We're seeing less and less Birdseye vegetables. And we need to pay attention to that, because if we start to see less and less of one major brand like that, we're going to see less and less of store brands as well. Looks like that is exactly what is happening. Let's take a little pause here. Okay, so next on the list is bread. Bread is an issue. We knew it was. We've been talking about this for months. Bread has been flying off the shelves and not coming back in. Sunbeam is one that I keep getting comments on the channel here. It's one that we've seen has been a lot less in stores. Butternut has been a lot less in stores around here. That is a famous Cincinnati bread. We saw where prices were going up in stores where they had not gone up before. Traditionally, it's really expensive at Kroger. I wouldn't buy butternut bread at Kroger, but they sell it usually at Walmart for $2.50, which is a lot cheaper than $3.29 at Kroger. However, when I went to Walmart the other day, there was barely any, and it didn't look great, so I didn't buy any. But there was only a few loaves, and we're seeing where Kroger is actually condensing their aisles or their shelves on Sunbeam, and Butternut, which is very unusual. Usually that takes up a massive amount of room inside the store. So they're putting things in there, and this is what we're getting comments on: breads that are disappearing, and they're putting in new stuff. Okay, we've gotten a few comments on that. That's why I wanted to mention that, well, maybe this is to hide the shortage that is coming, because we know it is. We know it is. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention. Are we going to be out of bread? Absolutely not. But we may miss different brands. Like I said, Butternut might get bought out of control, might not be able to sell it anymore if they're not making the kind of money that they need to make to stay in business. I think that is a lot of the problems here, and that could be what's affecting Sunbeam. They're just not making the profits that they used to, and maybe they're cutting costs. Maybe they're selling less in a store that isn't selling much. Now, me and Jessica went to Sam's Club today. That video will be out tomorrow morning. Good time at Sam's Club. There were some huge price increases at Sam's Club that we'll go over later. But for the most part, the breads and everything, still a great deal. Not as much bread as they're used to carrying. Also, speaking of bread, I saw no little rolls, no different breads, like fresh baked breads at Sam's Club. We go over how it looked like there were some employees not there, maybe some employee shortages at our Sam's Club. I'm not really sure, but like no pies. There were 2 sweet potato pies. That was it. Looks very empty. Very empty. Kind of looks scary. That's the lowest I've ever seen that aisle at Sam's Club. So make sure you check that video out tomorrow morning. But me and Jessica go around and, show some of the decent things to stock up on. Prices keep going up everywhere, though, and it's hard to justify some of the prices even at Sam's Club now because they're getting so expensive on just things. It's like, well, if you're someone that lives day to day or, week to week, I don't know if Sam's Club's worth it for you. If you're on a very tight budget, well, you may not be able to spend some of what the price in bulk it is. Sure, you're going to save a little bit, but it's like some of these prices are getting very close to what a sale price would be. It said like Kroger or Walmart or anywhere else for that matter, because, looking at some of the produce now, produce is flying off the charts at Sam's Club. You'll see some of the stuff at Sam's Club. It's getting pretty expensive. I know some of it's out of season, but still, we've never seen prices this high, even out of season. So we have to look at that. Okay, so meat, beef, and chicken. We've gotten a couple more comments. I figure that, this is on our list pretty much all the time. We've been hearing about a lot of different shortages of beef due to many different factors that have to do with that. Prices for the farmers, prices for the cattle raisers, everything is getting expensive. Plus, with all these different companies that seem to be shutting down left and right or getting rid of employees, I don't know. I feel like ultimately we're trying to push meat out the door here, meaning to not have it, right? I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but all signs are looking that direction in the future. We were talking about this months ago when they were saying that, the shortage is going to be pretty bad at the beginning of 2024. Well, it looks like it already is. Not so much around here, but we're seeing less and less and less of the quality beefs here. We're seeing sirloin look like gold, on a sale. And it's like, really? Like, whatever, it is what it is. But, finer meats are being used for other things to spread that out, spread the money out for them, for different companies, because, if you can't find prime meat, well, chances are they're using it for different things to spread it out. Maybe different, I don't know, entrees or something. But it's not being put on the shelves, that's for sure. They've gotten to the point where they're not putting out any extra at Sam's Club. They're putting out what they think they may sell, and that's it. Like you'll see in the video tomorrow, it's very low. And this is like the I don't know how many times I go to Sam's and there's barely any prime meat. I understand it's very expensive. They know this. It's like if you're cutting this fresh every day, yeah, don't cut too much. Just tell the butcher, like, here, I'll cut it for you right now. But don't waste money, because the more money we waste, the more it's just going to keep raising the price. So we need to pay attention to that. Chicken shortages, I don't know. I am seeing less and less like name brand chicken, like not as much, not name brand, store brands like the Heritage Farm. Seeing a lot less Heritage Farm at Kroger. It's significantly lower than it's ever been. You know, usually the bins are full and overflowing. Now it looks like we have an area in all the Krogers I visit where there's like one corner bin, you know, like one of those refrigerated in things. And then they'll have Tyson on one corner, and then they fill up the middle with whatever they can, right? A bunch of whole little chickens or whatever they can get in, at this point. But that's what we're seeing as far as meat and chicken. Not see, and then they fill up things with different meats as we go along here. Like you may find like a couple ribeyes, and then you find sirloin, and then the what's the other cheap one? I don't know, a bunch of ground cuts, you know, and it's like even these are getting ridiculously overpriced. I'm not going to pay $10.99 for sirloin. I'm sorry, but no, that's never going to happen. No, that's ridiculous. Now you'll see sales for like $7.99 a pound and frequent sales on stuff like sirloin and stuff, but it's like, even that is super stuff we were getting for $3.99 a pound, $2.99 a pound on sale just over a year and a half ago. Now $7.99 a pound on sale. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, guys. You know, I don't know. Okay, so I didn't want this to be too big of a video here, but this is something we need to talk about. So I got a few comments on seafood. Okay, one of our longtime viewers and a couple other viewers, it's been over the course of a few weeks, but I never looked this up, and I was kind of curious about it. One of our longtime viewers was saying how they went to one of their stores, and that a lot of the seafood was missing, a lot of the fresh seafood. Okay, so I kind of fallen down the rabbit hole of the internet here. I was looking at what's going on with fresh seafood, what's going on. So, overfishing and not being able to hire fishermen seem to be playing a huge part in why we're going to be seeing. There's a lot of articles that I went through, kind of just skimmed over. A lot looks like we're going to be seeing some seafood shortages because we have different agendas going on here. We have people that are trying to push fishermen out of the sea for a while so that the sea can replenish, right? Because apparently, and take this with a grain of salt, okay? Like I said, I fell down the rabbit hole here. This, you know, overfishing has been going on for a long time. We have so many fishermen out there. I'm not surprised that they're saying that the oceans are being depleted. Let's not forget about the pollution and everything else that is being put into the ocean that is killing a lot of fish. Okay, it's kind of disturbing, you know, but when you start to go down, the number that keeps ringing in is 2030. Okay, and they're saying, like, by that time, there's all these different fish that aren't going to exist anymore, like cod. And they're talking about making different alternatives to fish. Okay, and again, maybe we'll do this in another video, but I wanted to talk about this for a second because I was kind of doing some reading on it. They're saying by 2050 that our oceans could be completely depleted of fish. Now, mind you, when I read that, I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, I just thought to myself, like, what is this? I saw a couple other articles about it that were talking about 2050. Things are going to have to be changed for fish. That I guess it's 85% of the world is eats fish on a daily basis. That number kind of sounded a little weird to me too. So if you want to fall down the rabbit hole, but feel free to check some of this out. Also, if you have any idea what any of this is about, some different scientists, some renowned scientists, I don't know, but they're saying that overfishing is causing fish to be completely depleted out of the seas. So I don't know. They're talking about prices of crab and scallops going through the roof. Right now, crab is already expensive, but we see some sales on it from time to time. So, you know, I don't know. It is something we will check when we go to Kroger's and some other stores. I never really see any shortages of seafood. I'll tell you what. Now, you guys know who've been watching the channel a while know I love my crab legs. If I walk into Kroger and I see that stuff empty, then something's going on, and we're going to have to get down to the bottom of that because that would probably freak me out. And I would start talking to people. I'd be like, where's the fish? What happened? How come you weren't able to get your order? You know, this is things that a journalist does, right? That you're not hearing on the journalist channel, okay? The TV. So I don't know. We're going to have to look into that a little more. Like I said, I was just kind of skimming over some of these articles, but the same numbers were coming up in all of them. 2030 seems to be an issue for fish, and 2050 seems to be I don't know. Like I said, take everything that I said there with a grain of salt, because a lot of it, I don't know what I believe in that. You know, a lot of these articles are kind of, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a little bit more research on that and see what's going on, because, yeah, as to where I can go without seafood if I have to, they're talking about all different kinds of fish. It's not just shrimp and cod. Cod being one of them, and a lot of people saying that a lot of these fishermen that are overfishing can't find help, can't find people to work. Oh boy, that sounds familiar, don't it? So you're saying that we're overfishing, yet you can't find help. Okay. All right. And with that, guys, we are done with the coffee rant tonight. Yep, that is the food shortage report of what we have so far. I'm sure there's some things on this list that I missed, but I wanted to make sure I got this out here tonight so that we're paying attention, because here, this is what we have been talking about as we go into winter of 2024. These shortages that they have been talking about, that they have just been putting in different articles that we have been going over from USA Today, from different areas all around the world and the country. It looks like meat shortages is a thing happening. You know, we're seeing less and less. Don't you find it funny that when you go into Kroger or Meijer, or pretty much any store for that matter, you never see T-bones, and then all of a sudden you'll see T-bones just show up on an amazing deal? Like, you'll never see them at Meijer, and then all of a sudden there's a bin of them for $9.99 a pound. And it'll show a regular sale that didn't exist before. You don't see much of that at Kroger anymore either. Try and find a T-bone or a porterhouse at Kroger unless it just magically comes in, because they don't know. They're probably just saying, send me beef. And they work out a price, and there it is, right? Which is actually worked out 30 to 60 days before the sale price actually goes on the floor. So keep that in mind too. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.